for their debut season in the NFL with our analytics expert, Cynthia Freeland, and our fantasy analyst, Marcus Grant. And Cynthia, let's start with Trevor Lawrence. What kind of projections do you have for him as a rookie?
Well, I don't have him in the draftable range. He's just outside of 12, 13, unless you're in a two-quarterback league, of course. But I do think week one, he has the Texans. That could be an interesting one if you need some sort of help in that first week. But for me, it comes down to the fact I'm not really sure how Urban Meyer's going to run this team. It seems like there's going to be a big dependence on the run, which means it's not a bad thing for Lawrence. It's just not a great thing for your fantasy roster. Although I will say Lawrence was the best quarterback in this rookie class under pressure against the blitz. He was against the blitz most often of any of the other rookies, and he performed best against it. So he will have some great upside eventually, but I'm not going to start him at the beginning of the season, and I'm going to look to see potentially what happens with this offense and kind of the split between run versus pass.
Yeah, I get it. Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson's fantasy drafts won't go as well as their real drafts did, Marcus Grant, but what kind of intrigue do you see for the Jets QB, Zach Wilson?
Well, I'm sort of with Cynthia in the sense that I'm not drafting Zach Wilson anywhere, but if you're in a two-quarterback league, it's certainly interesting. If you're playing in a dynasty league, it's certainly interesting. The Jets offense, I think, has more intrigue in it this year than I've seen in recent years, with guys like Corey Davis coming in, drafting Michael Carter. I mean, there are a lot of pieces there that sort of make this interesting, but I think everyone's taking sort of a hands-off kind of cautious approach, and I think that really certainly defines Zach Wilson. We like what he potentially can be, but with quarterback being relatively deep in the fantasy game, there's no reason to rush out and really sort of fight your way to drafting him right now.
Yeah, I'm going to keep a close eye on what Elijah Moore does during the preseason, and you can see Elijah Moore in the Jets live here on NFL Network August 21st when they take on the Green Bay Packers in one of our 23 live preseason games. Cynthia, how about another couple of rookies that strike you as interesting plays?
Well, I'm going down to Miami first with Jaylen Waddle. I love this receiver for a lot of reasons, but one of the reasons is his first 3 yards off the line of scrimmage. His burst was the fastest amongst any of the wide receivers, meaning I think he's going to be able to get that perimeter, stretch the field, let's see what happens situation for Tua. So for me, when I look to see, okay, how's this offense going to be different, they're going to need to get the pass going, and I think Waddle will be one who will be utilized very heavily. Remember, they also brought in Will Fuller. He can help stretch the field too, so you're going to get that nice balance between kind of the new guy and then the known quantity, meaning Will Fuller being the known quantity, drawing the defensive backs away. And then I'm going to take, as Marcus calls, the low-hanging fruit because it tastes just as good, with Naiee Harris in the Pittsburgh Steelers. So when I look to see, okay, what's going to happen in this backfield, it's just his, right? The volume is there. That's a huge predictor of success. And also his ability to be useful in both the pass-catching game and the true rushing game is a really big deal for Ben Roethlisberger and this offense. They need to open the offense up. We saw last season Ben Roethlisberger utilizing the quick passes so much more so than any other quarterback in the league. And Naiee Harris will be a big factor in that game as well. So for me, when I look at it, I'm taking that low-hanging fruit because it tastes just as good.
And when you can check out Naiee Harris as well live here on NFL Network when the Pittsburgh Steelers take on the Detroit Lions Saturday, August 21st, 7:30 Eastern Time. Marcus, another couple of rookies for you that you're excited about?
Yeah, well, the first one is DeVonta Smith. And we've seen the Eagles the last couple of years really look for some consistency at wide receiver. They've struggled there. He might already be the best wide receiver on this roster. And I would not be surprised if you see DeVonta Smith get somewhere in the neighborhood of 100 targets in his rookie season. And right now, you look at drafts, he's going after guys like Kenny Golladay and Odell Beckham Jr., who we know is known quantities, but who have much less consistent floors than you're seeing from DeVonta Smith. So that's a guy I really take a shot at, especially in the 6th, 7th, 8th round when he's available. The other guy is Javonte Williams, who, of all the running backs in this class, he's the one that I enjoyed watching the most. I didn't think he was necessarily spectacular in one area, but he was really good in a lot of different areas. And yes, early on, he's going to be in a timeshare with Melvin Gordon, but I wouldn't be surprised if you see him become the Broncos' RB1 before the season is over. So if you're drafting him, just know you may have to be patient for the first month or so, but after that, I think you're going to have a really solid fantasy running back.
Any bonuses in fantasy for yards after contact? Because I'm kind of all in on that with Javonte Williams with the Denver Broncos. So that'll be a fun backfield to watch. Just don't know who their quarterback's going to be just yet, but you're not drafting him either, no matter who it is. NFL.com/fantasy for all of your fantasy needs. Go ahead and get your fantasy drafts rolling right now. NFL.com.